movie. I mean, I just hit record. What's your favorite Christmas movie, Kaitlin?
That's a really tough question. Okay, I know a lot of people don't like Love Actually, but I like Love Actually.
Oh, wrong answer.
Oh,
Wrong
the
answer. Are you kidding me? Love Actually is the. Look, I will admit, you have a heart of stone if you don't cry when the guy does the card thing to the beautiful
okay, I don't
Keira
cry.
Knightley.
That's just adorable. I don't cry when that happens. What do you?
You
What?
get a
I don't
frog
want
in
to
your
cry.
throat. You get a frog in your
Movie doesn't.
throat. I
No, I don't. It's just really adorable, and it's a rom com. Okay, you're not supposed to cry during a rom com.
I have emotions. I feel.
Well,
I
we're Republicans, so we're not supposed to.
cold-hearted with a heart that's
Hey,
two sizes too small.
I have been told over the course of many weeks for standing on principle that I am cold-hearted. And you know what, everyone? Pay up on those student loans.
Fuck your loans. Pay them. I paid them. You have to pay them. You whiny little shit. You drive a Tesla and you're complaining about student fucking loans. God damn. I mean, the privilege that you talk about, like they talk about privilege, the elitist privilege. You think that some kid that graduated from high school and started working, working retail, carpentry, electrician, the trades, whatever, didn't bother to go to school, didn't get in, didn't rack up that debt, that the idea that they're going to get taxed and to pay your dumb loan back. There's no more elitist privileged point of view than that one, and it sucks. And I can't stand. Notice only the like Ayanna Pressley and AOC are the ones saying it. It's not.
Well, Ayanna Presley brought in money from rent this past year, so she should
Another
be able to
hypocrite.
pay her student loans. Yeah, no, I like sorry the pandemic is ending, like pay your student loans.
The pandemic is ending, which leads us to our first topic. God damn, like not one person in the country has died that we know of. At some point, due to statistics on the commentary podcast, I'm going to repeat a little bit of John Podhoretz here. Go listen. It's great episode. Yeah. Great episode today. Now, but not one person in America has died from the Omicron variant. Not one.
Because it's mild. They keep on coming out saying it's mild. So like
it's a fucking cold. It's a fucking cold. And it's
what was it? South America or not South America? I'm sorry. It's South Africa is the country where it originated. They think it originated from. It went through its wave in like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. It's nothing.
It's like down to 1.8%.
Right.
Like infection rate. Am I correct on that?
Well, it's way more transmissible, but it's way more treatable, and it's way less severe. Way less severe.
And we do have to say, Jeff, that our one of our senators now has COVID.
Elizabeth Warren. I hope you feel better, Senator Warren. Honestly, I do. Because I want to see you lose an election. That's I hope you live a very long life, but I want you to live long enough that you lose an election because you don't deserve to be in office because you're that bad. Talking about, I mean, what a week this lady's had. We're skipping around on the topics here, but we'll get back to topic number one. But may as well bring it up. Elizabeth Warren, Jesus God! Like, first of all, the big poultry is keeping your prices high over Thanksgiving, and it costs because big meat is keeping you oppressed at the supermarket because the price of meat and price of beef is going up, and it's just like this is the stuff of third world dictators. The oligarchs are keeping you down without saying that's really the inflationary pressures. She steps in it for 2 weeks on the food prices, and then goes after Elon Musk, who puts her in a body bag.
Oh my God. That was just so awesome, Jeff. The first tweet of it was like, you're full of, or what was it? Like, you're full of shit or something like that. And he posted the article about the the DNA test that she took or something, found out that she wasn't what she said she was. And the thing is if you had talked to any Massachusetts Republican, we would have been like, yeah, she's not Native American. You want to know why we know this? Because Cherokee genealogists went back and looked at her history, and she wasn't Native American. And the liberals across the media in Massachusetts wouldn't say anything out of fear.
This is the thing with her. It's like she's protected, and she shouldn't be protected for. She's protected for no reason. This is this perverse little bubble that the box they've put themselves in, and they can't get themselves out now because they've been so used to they protected Biden during the election. They went after Trump for 4 years. They teamed up with the Democratic Party, and now that things are going terribly, they don't know how to go back to just honest reporting. They can't do it. And it takes people like Elon Musk, who has a massive following, massive presence, is the Leonardo da Vinci of our time. And in real time, you are watching like the guy, like, let's look at what this guy has accomplished. Made his money initially, I think, via PayPal, right? So makes his first millions there.
With Peter Thiel. Yeah.
With Peter Thiel via PayPal. Then starts a car company. Just out of, like, not even just starting a car company would be hard enough, but starts an electric car company. But
he saw where the market was going to open up, where electric cars were eventually going to be the future, and so you have to innovate that really early and fast, right? So like Tesla was genius in what they do, and then he goes into SpaceX, which is and
we're leaving out the Boring Company. Which I know that's his like least publicized or at least known about project, but that's the one that's fascinating to me because I would ask him questions. I have like 6 questions I want to ask him about tunnels that I think my ideas for tunnels. But anyway, the guy is brilliant. He is sane so far. Hopefully he doesn't turn into Howard Hughes, but he seems to have common sense. He just tweeted today, he's like, I'm going to pay $11 billion in taxes this year. And these vultures, it's never enough for them. Like, they're like, why should we bother going to space when people are hungry? Really, actually, nobody's hungry anymore. Nobody's hungry in the country anymore. Their food in
we have charity. Those charities take care of these people. And this is what they want is for, and the thing is like the amount that Elon pays the federal government, it's like gone in like a week. Like,
probably it's probably minutes. I mean, 11 billion with our spending.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 2 days, and so like, what's the point? Like, and that again, that's another thing. Like they keep on talking about, like, where's all the billions? He pays taxes. What you're expecting him to do is pay federal income tax on a salary he doesn't take. He pays taxes on the things that he does and the money that he gets from his businesses based on like capital gains and all that other stuff. He doesn't pay federal income tax for a reason, because he doesn't take a salary.
He's an admirable man.
Yes.
And a good man, and the hatred that is, there was a time in this country where we admired the wealthy and what they created and what they did. Not people who inherited their wealth or the idle rich, but people like
the wealthy innovators. And it's people like Thomas Edison that
Henry Ford is just as revolutionary as Elon Musk, and to do what
Vanderbilt's, the Commodore, he revolutionized railroads. Like, we needed that in order to do cross country, even communications at the time. Like, those people used to be revered. Like, Elon Musk will be revered as one of these people in the history books. That's what he will have that happen. The issue that these people have with Elon Musk, let's get back to Liz Warren. The reason why they have a huge problem with Elon Musk is because he doesn't toe the line anymore, and he sees through their bullshit. And that's one of the reasons why, Liz Warren beats up on him, and then he calls her Senator Karen, which was one of the funniest things.
Yeah, she reminds him of the woman who would yell at him while he was playing outside with his friends, or the mother of a friend who would just yell for no reason, just scream for no reason. She does. She screams for no reason. She can't argue or debate policy or what. She hasn't been challenged at any step to defend her positions. It's just squawking. It's just relentless. That's all. Yeah, all they do now.
And all Massachusetts Republicans were like, finally, someone hits her. Like, it was so good.
Senator Karen.
I mean, he decimated her. Like, it was just so good. Like, good.
Yeah, I look forward to what he has to create and add to society down the road. I mean that, and you know, you put that up against another billionaire who, you know, probably maybe not as equal in wealth, but Jeff Bezos, who we're finding out, you know, the insidious deals he has with China, who bought the Washington Post, and now that's become like, you know, a propaganda arm for the DNC. It's like, you know, you see the flip side of it. It's just like, so and Elon's not, you know, maybe he'll vote Republican, I don't know, but he's not overtly political. It's just pretty much common sense that he comes out with on the various issues that he's talking about. But Bezos made a very political move to get to become enmeshed in the world, and that's why the Amazon headquarters, I believe, he moved them to Washington D.C. as well, right?
Or like right outside of it in Virginia.
Yeah,
but
close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Bezos is ever going to overtake Elon Musk in creativity and innovation. I think that no, there's no way. I mean, all he does is own a huge conglomerate where you kind of reached your peak on what you can provide to society. In my personal opinion, I don't think that what's the space company that he owns? It's what's the name of it?
Blue something? I know SpaceX, right?
Yeah, we don't even know the name of Bezos's space company because it's such bullshit and small. Like SpaceX is making rockets that are reusable. Do you know what, like, how good that is?
I thought the first time I saw the video of the rocket coming back down to Earth when it landed upright, and it was like, then the jets fired, or the engines fired, and then it landed like a pencil standing up straight. When I thought that was fake. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Oh. What's that video? And they're like, oh, it's one of Elon, you know, SpaceX's rockets returning to Earth. I'm like, huh? You mean it didn't like fall into the ocean or a parachute or something like that? Like they landed the rocket back right side up. It's astonishing.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, Elon is just so impressive. And I think I think the reason why all of these people hate Elon on the liberal side is because Elon doesn't toe their line. I mean, I think, and he's also seen through their bullshit in the last few years. I think that he kind of did play it safe for a long time, and now he's just like, no, fuck that.
No, he can't, though, because he's being attacked too much. It's in his interest now to not toe the line. He has to actually push back to do what he wants to do creatively and move whatever he wants to move his vision forward with. There's two things I want to mention more before we move on from talking about him. One, I can't wait for him to create like an SUV, right? When I think about a car that I'm going to buy, I think of two things. One, I'm tall. Does it fit me comfortably? Two, so I need an SUV. And two, is it good in the snow? Because the weather stinks in Massachusetts. Other than that, like every other vehicle is pretty ubiquitous, right? So, you know, the Teslas right now are more sedans, and there's some higher, like, I guess, crossover SUV types, but a real SUV. Like, and what he has done is he has made the competition better. He has made the legacy car makers better. Mercedes is coming out with an electric vehicle. GMC has reinvented the Humvee to all electric. Amazing stuff. Like, you know, he pushed their timelines up, and definitely within I'm not 5, but like, you know, within 10 to 20 years, we'll all be driving electric vehicles. And then we have to have the conversation. He did that. He pushed that lever. Nobody else was doing it.
Well, it reminds me of the well, I don't know how much history you know, Jeff, about like the war of like innovation with electricity, and how like Westinghouse and Thomas Edison were at this war about which one would win, and the type of innovation.
Alternating current versus direct current. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting how people go down history and are remembered for that. I mean, Westinghouse is still kind of around, but GE, we can go into GE, but GE came because of this. And you and I kind of live in that area, right? Because GE's first factory is around Boston.
Oh yeah.
And then the first, I actually live in the place. It was Alexander Graham Bell first called the person on the telephone in Salem.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was, where Turner's Sea, or the fish place that's over by where
Turner's Fishery? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it was that building or right next to it.
Did Edison call from New Jersey? Was that what he made?
No, it was Alexander. Yeah, Alexander.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did Alexander Graham Bell call from New Jersey? Do I have that right, or am I completely wrong? Yeah. Okay, I could be thinking of Edison in New Jersey. So sorry.
Area like such history, and where like you see innovation like urban sprawl grow out. But again, yes, Elon Musk is going to be remembered in the history books as the person pushing this market shift, and it's been so good for humanity. And that's one of the things that us as conservatives we need to really push is conservationist ideals, and how we use energy and all of that in order, like, if you're going to combat climate change, we need to have a discussion on energy.
This is the next question. We're just like we're Warren and even our other senator Ed Markey are completely absent, because within the next 5 to 20 years, so many vehicles, the changeover to electric vehicles will happen. And do you know what happened when everybody comes home at 5 o'clock in their electric vehicle? What are they going to do? They're going to plug it in. And that's going to be an immense drain. Plug it in during the summer with air conditioning. We're going to need way more power. We're going to need nuclear power plants. And the smart thing Republicans can do is, like, in order to combat climate change, just take the issue away from them. Just be like, let's go nuclear.
Yes.
Do like, nuke them or something like this, some little catchphrase. I don't know, but we should do 2 power plants in every state. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff, like, that's the thing. I feel like actually Republicans on energy policy concerning this, we have like the upper hand. I just wish a lot more senators and people in the House were just more vocal on like energy.
They're afraid. They're pussies. They're pussies. They won't talk about it because they think that this can't be our issue, but it can be our issue. And it can be. And first of all, it's going to need to be. We're going to literally need to make it happen, because the Democrats aren't going to make it happen. When the call it the electric vehicle bubble bursts, or whatever, whenever that plug-in happens, where we reach critical mass with enough electric vehicles and people plug them in when they come home at night during the summer, we're going to have blackouts if we don't build out the infrastructure, and we need nuclear power to make that happen. And if you're not,
if there is a nuclear power infrastructure bill and the Republicans push it, it would pass. I think it would.
Yes,
I think Dem sign on, because like it's just a simple solution to what their climate change. And the other thing about this is Trump was actually very awesome on this policy, nuclear. And that's one of the things that Biden just sucks on, is energy policy.
Yeah.
Like,
we talk about in the tweet of this broadcast, we talk about Build Back Better is dead. Well, you know what? If you're serious about governing as a Democrat, which they're not, but if Biden were to just recalculate and go, okay, this is bad. What can we do? What can I actually get done? He got this bipartisan infrastructure deal. Do this thing, nuclear power, in 2 in 50, two power plants in the 50 states, and you just start building them. That's real infrastructure. It's real jobs. It's the private sector will, technically do it, but like, this is money that we're going to need to build these power plants all across the country to handle the electric vehicles, and we will get off fossil fuels. And you're serious about it. You're serious about it. Like Build Back Better isn't a serious thing. It's all this social spending. It's nonsense.
I mean, you could even take the energy companies that control fossil fuels and make more divisions where they could. I mean, like, not saying the government needs to do that, but like the fossil fuel companies could also promote nuclear and start trying to work with the federal government to open these type of plants and break down the barriers in order to do that, because it would be such a simple solution. But
we could get it done. Yeah. We could get that done. We wouldn't have to worry about. I mean, we'd have more power over Russia, more power, more influence in China. We could flex our muscles like that. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. We could export our fuel and have the cash coming back in.
Power, we would have the tactical advantage over China.
Yeah, it'd be phenomenal. So I mean, well, and Build Back Better is dead. Good riddance, hopefully.
That was an interesting thing that came out. You know what killed it, or at least he became public over it? Manchin. Do you remember that?
Well, what you mean, the final straw? I thought the price tag killed it for him.
Well, it did, but you want to know what pushed him to go public on Sunday morning?
Oh, right, because he went on Fox News. Yeah, go ahead.
So Biden put out a statement that mentioned Joe Manchin by name. And that's what caused Joe Manchin to get so pissed off. He was like, I'm not voting for this.
Oh, it's petty.
Like,
good for him.
Well, I mean, it was like, don't put out he's taken enough shit for everybody in the Democratic Party that like don't agree with this bill. He'll sit there, put it all on his shoulders and be an asshole about it. I get it.
Look, the White House's statements. Have you been reading this shit? Let me read you the most recent White House statements. I got to read this. On COVID, because this will dovetail into kind of the next thing. If we want to, we'll move past Build Back Better, because we'll get into the mandates in a second. From whitehouse.gov, we are intent on not letting Omicron, Alpha Chi Psi Omega, Omicron, Theta Eta,
it's been a long
Kappa
time
Epsilon. No. I'm not chugging a beer while doing it, so I don't know. We are intent on not letting Omicron disrupt work and school for the vaccinated. You've done the right thing, and we will get through this. For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your family, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm. What the fuck? That's from the White House. What the actual fuck are they thinking? Can you imagine writing that down? Like, Joe Biden didn't write that down. Somebody wrote that for him. He didn't approve it. That just went out. What the fuck? Who wrote that? What ghoul? What absolute ghoul wrote that? Which, first of all, Omicron, it's a cold. It's a cold. And, it's mild in symptoms. And it spreads widely, so we'll deal with it. We have treatments. The people who are vaccinated don't get that sick. It's going to be fine. And it is disturbing how the progressives are reacting to this, because they love it. They wallow in it. They bathe in the hysteria. They are neurotic to their core, and we are paying the price for it. And I was saying this on the Patreon episode. By the way, patreon.com/RINOpod, only $1 a month. Patreon.com/RINOpod. I have a confession to make, and I saved it for this episode. Kaitlin, I know I love Massachusetts, and I don't want to leave. I mean it. But I went on Zillow this week.
Oh my God.
With down south, I was like, because just some other stuff with some mandates and some rules, not with what Michelle Wu just did today. And I was like, huh. I'm like, and mostly because of my kid. I'm like, I'm just, there are lines that I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm out. I won't do it. I won't, put my kid through it. I won't do whatever. Cause I'm not, it's your own personal decision with your child, and nobody should make that decision for you, period. And it's a real problem. It's a real problem. And Michelle Wu came out today with a new mandate that makes, the servant class have to wear masks while only vaccinated people go into their restaurants and sporting venues and theaters. Of course, the performers and the athletes are exempt because it's for the plebs. And you plebs should just do what you're told. And you should show your papers and have your civil rights violated by a petty little millennial who's never run anything in her goddamn life. How old is she? She's 36.
Oh, she's 4 years older than me. Okay.
I'm disillusioned. I really am. It's like we'll deal with it. We've been dealing. It was the time to worry was from March through late spring of 2020.
Yeah. At that point, you start reopening again, and you should push forward. We have these 3 vaccines. I know that the issue is that the vaccinated people are carrying the virus. And so we have the unvaccinated people. So they're trying to force these mandates in order to force the unvaccinated people who are left over to do it. But again, Jeff, 75% of our state is already vaccinated. 75.
And I'm thinking about, I'm fully vaccinated, and you know what? I'll probably get a booster at some point. I don't know when. I'm going to talk to my doctor and figure it out. But even if I don't and I catch this Omicron variant, because I'm vaccinated, the symptoms are mild. It's cold-like and flu-like. And, we've had them all. Everybody's had them. We'll deal with it. And then when you get over it, you're then inoculated from the Omicron variant.
Right. People are testing positive now that are already boosted, and they're not feeling any symptoms. At that point, do you have to quarantine?
It's insane. We are still using the same metrics we did last year, and it shouldn't be positive test results. It should be hospitalizations, which the hospitals are saying they can handle it. The hospitals, this is the thing. All the headlines have words like could and may.
Right.
At the worst of this thing, the hospitals weren't overwhelmed. So let's review here. We made everybody mask up for a year, and we had surges of cases. We shut everything down for a year. We had surges in cases. We have a vaccine. Thanks.
We have 3 vaccines.
What's
3
that?
different ones.
3 different vaccines that are free, and anybody can get them anytime they want. And cases started to go down, and illnesses and deaths started to go down. We've had the Delta variant. Now we have the Omicron variant. And through the Delta variant and through the Omicron variant, deaths, because people were vaccinated, the deaths didn't surge like they did in 2020. Hospitals weren't overwhelmed.
No.
And we're still playing this game, and people are still pretending that masks do something. And people are still pretending like vaccines don't.
Right. That's the thing. You and I are both vaccinated. Even us right now questioning it, people would be like, you're anti-vaxxers. It's I don't know what you're talking about. I'm boosted.
Yeah.
We're just done with all of the restrictions. And I just want to make sure it's very clear, Jeff, that, we've gone through the first wave, the Delta wave, the Omicron wave, but it's always the G variant.
Yeah, noticeably they skipped over it because somebody's name happened to be the exact same of that variant. It's troubling because we're dealing with people that supposedly went to the most elite schools in the country, Harvard educated, but they listen to the people who are these freaks that surround them. Who have no common sense.
They're refusing to acknowledge now, Jeff, that this is endemic, right? So we know that COVID's going to go through in cycles nowadays, like the flu is, and the flu's been going in cycles for almost 100 years now. We're going to have COVID in our lives for the rest of our time. And being vaccinated helps protect you from sickness, just the way that the flu shot does. It might not be perfect. They're still innovating it, but at the same time, I'm not getting sick. And I've been around people I haven't felt unsafe. So like, at what point do these people need to start looking at what's going on, changing their metrics, and returning
This
to
is
normal?
we need to. There's a couple. Let's do a couple solid takeaways here. Smart Republican leadership needs to be a lot more vocal about changing the metric and being out there and being like, stop talking about the number of positive tests because it's a meaningless number. Because and it also pisses me off that people who really don't like the vaccine, or maybe don't like maybe they don't even like the mandates as we don't, but they're talking about like the NFL. 95% of the NFL is vaccinated, yet the cases, which are just positive test results, are through the roof. Well, okay, if you're exposed to the virus and you've taken the vaccine, and your body fights it because you have had the vaccine, well, yeah, you're going to test positive for it, but you're not going to get sick and as sick as you could if you didn't. And the odds of you getting admitted to the hospital and dying drop dramatically. So yes, the vaccine is working, it's doing its thing, but nobody ever said you weren't going to get exposed to it and test positive for it. So people on that side need to just shut up and stop saying that. It's a dumb argument, but we need to move away from the idea of positive test results and even talking about it like it means anything. We need to focus on hospital capacity if that's an issue, and pushing. If you want to push money or push things as a government official, start spending on therapeutics, Regeneron, was it the Pfizer pill or Johnson & Johnson pill? The COVID pill that's coming out in a matter of days. In a matter of days, January. It's coming in January.
It's like Merck, Pfizer, I think, have both pills coming out, so it helps. And that's the thing. Like, we are very lucky that in the course of 2 years that we've had scientific miracles where we have vaccines, we have therapeutics coming out. Scientists have actually worked really hard, and I think the COVID fear porn doesn't help their point or anything like that. It obviously doesn't help our collective psyche as a country to constantly live in fear of something that, again, if you take good care of yourself, you get the vaccine, it's not really that big of an issue for you. And so we know that masks are not like the best inhibitor for mitigation. Get the vaccine, take care of yourself. You should live your life the way you want. If I have government officials trying to force me to show them my vax card before going in a restaurant, like, that makes me feel like we're going to be locked down forever. Like, it doesn't give me a feeling of relief. It gives me a feeling of concern.
And it should, because it won't ever end unless more and more people start speaking up and speaking out against these government leaders who are doing this, against Michelle Wu, this isn't a decision based on science. This is a decision based on fear. And the physician and public health advocates who like getting their name in the paper, who like appearing on TV and like the adoration and the attention, they have a malpractice mindset. That's what I'm calling it, a malpractice mindset. And where it's not about really like, all right, let's look at the trade-offs and the benefits and the drawbacks and come to a good decision to move us back forward as society. It is a zero risk safetyism, COVID zero, which we'll never get to. And like, well, now you got to wear a mask on a plane, even if for the flu. I think it's a good idea to make people wear a mask always, every time, everywhere. It's never going to end. They've gotten a little taste of it. They've gotten the attention and the power, and they can make you do things that they think are the best for you, and they're not. And we have to start pushing back. Don't obey the mandates. Don't obey this mandate. Like, if you're politely decline. It's not the server's fault. It's not the waiter's fault, or the bartender's fault, or even the person taking the tickets at the game or the show. But politely decline. No, I'm sorry. I have civil rights. You can't ask me for my papers. Thank you very much. And I'm going to walk in and make them call the cops. Take it to court. I haven't seen any of this stuff come to fruition. So, make it happen. I mean, and be like, look, I'm sorry. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but no, I'm not going to show my papers. I won't do that. Say no. Because we have to do it around here. This is the thing. We have to do it around here in the Northeast. People in Florida and Texas, yeah, they'll be like, well, they're not going to tell me what to do. Well, yeah, well, your government officials are sane and doing the right thing. We have nutbags. And they're not acting out of, the separation that's taking place I tweeted about this a little earlier between the servant class. Have you seen this? Like all these pictures of
Or like when you see pictures of a movie premiere and all of the people who are in the movie wear masks and everybody who's working for them are wearing masks. Like it's awkward and weird.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that looks
at a banquet at a fundraiser for the DNC, and everybody serving them food is masked, but they're sitting around a table unmasked.
That's right. That picture of Nancy Pelosi at that fundraiser was just like so cringe.
It's terrible. I mean, it's terrible what's happening though. It's terrible what's happening. And it's coming from one direction. It's coming from one political party. And if you're even an old school liberal and you want to see this end, like you have to speak up and start saying this, or it will never end.
Liberals, there are old school liberals out there who are tired of this shit.
Yeah.
We know who you are. You are the ones that tend to be loud, but the issue is that you keep voting for these people to come into power and they're never going to get it. They're never going to understand. I think they've dug their heels into this so hard that they don't get it. Like, that's the thing. Jeff and I are going to have to show a fucking vaccine passport to go into a restaurant. Like, they're going to try to put
I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not. I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to go sit down over there where you are and you're not, and be like, you're doing your job. I understand. And then we can see where it goes. We can ratchet up the level. Be like, then you need to call the police, because at some point we have to say you're violating my civil rights. It's an illegal order. No law was passed. You do not have to show your papers in this country. And I spoke out about it. I spoke out against it when Charlie Baker was talking about it on the radio. I still stand by that. He's a good governor, but he's wrong on this. I will fight tooth and nail. This is getting real. It's getting real. This isn't, theoretical at this point. They're gonna elect. Yeah. They're gonna make an electronic database of this stuff. You will flash red when you show your smartphone. Can't let you in. Just stop doing it. Just let it melt away. But they won't.
It just a little too social, like what China does with the social.
With the credit score.
Yeah, the social credit score stuff.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you shouldn't be blocking free movement of people like that. I mean, in Massachusetts, it sucks because you and I will probably take issue with that. Like, I'm not going to show my fucking Vax card to walk into Starbucks every morning, but
yeah, I mean,
I don't even do. Did I tell you that I stopped wearing a mask when I go into Starbucks? Like, I
did. You did, and good for you. And
so I go to Starbucks every morning to get my coffee. It's like my one little reward thing every day. And I don't wear a mask to go in and get my pre-ordered coffee for 3 seconds that I'm in the restaurant.
Same.
They don't even say anything to me. Like, it's just funny. Like, I walk in without, sometimes I do have to wait. I'm like, okay. And they're all wearing masks and everyone's kind of looking at me. And I'm like, I'm not on my fucking mask to be in here for 5 seconds.
Well, the same thing. I do the same thing. I walk into this limousine liberal town on my way into work.
Because I can't say that I live in a limousine liberal town. I live in a town.
That's just where I get my coffee. There's a Starbucks located in the limousine liberal town that I drive through to get my coffee. And I've been since they reinstituted the mask mandate months ago, right after vaccines, everybody had gotten their vaccines and like, oh well, we're masking up because we're safe. As soon as that happened, I was like, no, I'm not. I got my vaccine. You people are unthinking sheep. And vaccines work, and your masks don't do shit. Your dirty paper piece of cloth mask covering your face doesn't do a goddamn thing. Well, and then you hear the real idiots. Well, better safe than sorry. No, not better safe than sorry. Not better safe than sorry. There's nothing safe about this. It's superstition at this point. And when you're vaccinated and you're surrounded by other people who are vaccinated, you're fine. You're really fine. and it's just bonkers to me. But nobody said anything to me either. And I kind of wait for people to maybe do it so I can, See what the exchange will be. But Michelle Wu is making things worse for the city of Boston.
Yeah, Boston's doing it. Washington D.C.'s got a new mask mandate. I think they're doing the similar things that Michelle Wu's doing, and Kate Driscoll in Salem, who I did not vote for mayor.
Maybe Mayor Kaitlin.
No.
Maybe it's time. When's it? 4 years? She just got elected in 2021.
No, Mayor Kaitlin of Salem. I really don't want the witches to be mad at me.
Yeah. Well, maybe though Salem needs new leadership. I mean, after all, you are a mean girl on Twitter, right?
Oh my God.
All right. I certainly hope sanity comes back in this holiday season. That's my wish for Christmas. My Christmas wish is for sanity to come back. I'm not hopeful. All right, everybody, have a very Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. What any New Year's resolutions?
Oh, I'm getting back into running, so it's been slow for November and December, and hopefully I can ramp back up in the next year and maybe do a half marathon or something.
Awesome. Well, good for you. That's great.
Yeah, I used to run all the time, so hopefully this works.
All right. Well, we will play you out with my favorite